What's up, boss? I'm Vince Del Monte of vincedelmontefitness.com, and as you can see, we got everybody's favorite today, how to get bigger arms faster. But not just faster, but we want to do it smarter and we want to do it safer. Because the guys who watch me, who follow my channel, we're looking to build muscle for a long period of time, into our 40s, into our 50s. And if you're looking to build your arms just by lifting heavier weights, this video is not for you. Go somewhere else. Because there's tons of guys out there lifting heavy weights and they're not getting better results. So what's up with that? You see, when guys are lifting heavier weights, if they have big arms, you don't know how much of that tension is actually being directed to the muscle tissue and how much is getting dumped into the wrists, the elbows, and the joints, which is just really setting them up to pay for their therapist's European vacation down the road. We don't want that. So what we want to go through today are 4 big arm mistakes that apply to the biceps and the triceps. Before we dive in, for those who don't know, I had to get elbow surgery a couple years ago. And when I got my elbow surgery on this left arm, the doctor told me he never taken so much bone out of an elbow in his entire life. And I guess what happened when they did the surgeries, they nicked the ulnar nerve, which is a nerve that runs underneath the elbow all the way through, and it controls these 2 fingers here, abduction and adduction. And after they did the x-ray and took a look at it, they basically said, Vince, you've got an arthritic elbow. So if you ever want to train again, you've got to work around an elbow joint, which is pretty much trashed up. Yet, since I had my surgery, I've been able to build my arms. Interestingly, I've been doing it with what I call baby weights. And when most people see me train, they're like, Vince, you're hardly using any weight and you're making gains. What's up with that? Well, again, this is why we focus on training smarter. All right, so the first 2 things we're going to take a look at up here, nobody's talking about. And then the last 2 things you can start applying right away. So if a guy came to me and said, Vince, I want to bring up my arms quickly, like I'm going on a trip in 2 weeks, what would I do? What I'm going to show you here is exactly what I'd recommend. All right, so first thing here, again, these first 2 tips have to do with the mechanics stuff. When I say mechanics, I'm referencing how to do what you're doing in the gym. When I say physiology stuff, that's what to do, like the reps, the sets, the frequency, the duration, the intensity, all those cool hypertrophy variables. So no one's talking about these first 2 things. So the big mistake guys are making right now are they are not applying what I call the principle of ownership. All right, the principle of ownership is all based on controlling the weight every single inch. So as you can see me here doing this curl, what I want you to focus on when you're doing the concentric motion to ensure you're executing the principle of ownership is that you're beating the weight 1 pound at a time. Write that down. I want you to focus on beating the weight 1 pound at a time on the concentric. And then when you've got the muscle maximally shortened, I want you to focus on letting the weight beat you 1 pound at a time on the eccentric. All right, that means you have complete control of the weight. You're directing the tension into the muscle tissue, not the joints, and you're going to get better results. So here's a guy who doesn't have ownership over the weights. Mistake number 2 falls under the category of mechanics as well. And the mistake is not doing activation exercises before you get into the work sets of your arm workout. Now, activation sets, if you come down here to the MI40 gym here, if you train with Coach Joe Bennett or Ben Pikowski, they are going to ensure you start your workout with activation sets. This is where you get one end of the muscle pre-shortened and you really get the other end of the muscle really lengthened. And what we're doing is we're essentially training the muscle to fire. We want to know how to selectively recruit it before we start going into our heavier output sets where we're trying to increase the intensity and the effort. So if you're not doing activation sets, essentially you're not like warming up before you want to go sprint. All right, so that's really, really critical. So with this exercise here, this is a cool one I learned from Joe Bennett. And it's very powerful in terms of activating the biceps for 3 reasons. 1, we've got shoulder flexion, so the biceps pre-shortened at the shoulder. And then what we're doing with the supination is we're really allowing the bicep to lengthen at the elbow. Now the key here, guys, is to ensure you've got your wrist supinated before you contract. Now being locked down on the pad is the third cool benefit because we're really able to get a hard contraction. So this is something you do before your normal biceps workout. Just do about 2 to 3 sets maximum. We're not looking for crazy work output here. We're just ensuring that you're contracting that bicep as hard as possible. So after you hit the biceps, we've got to hit the triceps. So what we're doing here is a variation on a press down. And you notice that we're breaking this into two separate motions. So what we're first doing here is we're focusing on shortening the tricep at the elbow, and then we're focusing on shortening the tricep at the shoulder by breaking it up into two separate motions. So really focus on a big arc at the elbow, contract hard, let those triceps crawl up your arm, and then extend them behind your back and maintain that tension. Don't lose a single inch of it. When you're doing these activation exercises, don't forget to do a 2-second contraction in the shortened position, all right? That's where the greatest opportunity for gains is, because that's where you're weak. So really squeeze it hard, get that muscle short, hold it for a full 2 seconds before you go to the next rep. The next big arm mistake falls under the physiology stuff. Again, this is the stuff that has to do with program design. And this one is not incorporating what one of my coaches, Coach Ryan Fanley, calls touch-up sets. And touch-up sets are essentially a way to increase the frequency on a particular body part. So what most guys don't understand is that arms are a small body part. And the smaller the body part, the faster it recovers, which means we can train it more frequently. So what we want to do is we want to double up on our arms throughout the week. You don't need a full week to recover from an arm workout. That's ridiculous. So if you did, say, a chest and a back workout on Monday, you might add in a little bit of arms at the end of your workout. And then later on in the week, you might do just a full dedicated arm workout. So really what we're doing is we're just looking to hit the arms every 4 to 5 days by doing a touch-up set. And the touch-up set really is maybe like just 3 to 4 high quality sets at the end of another day's body part. So we're dispersing the volume throughout the course of the week. We're not doing it all in one workout, which is a big mistake. So we're dispersing the volume by adding touch-up sets, which is a cool way to increase frequency, increase stimulus, and get your arms bigger faster. The other mistake, again, this falls under the physiology stuff, is not applying the principle of priority by sequence. So what does this mean? Priority by sequence is a simple program design concept that says whatever you do at the start of the workout or at the start of the week is going to see the greatest benefit because you're fresh. The big mistake you see guys do is back and then biceps at the end of the workout. So doing biceps after back workout, they're already pre-fatigued. You're not going to get the most out of your arms. So by putting your biceps first or earlier on in the week, you're going to give them priority by sequence. Again, this is an application to wanting to bring your arms up. If your arms are already big, you don't need to do that. But if you're trying to prioritize a body part, you want to train it when it's fresh. So simple fix, give them their own separate day. 2, do them at the start of the workout when they're fresh. It's as simple as that. The best physiques are the physiques that are balanced, that are proportional. So you should be building your body based around the body parts you need to bring up, not just based on some cookie cutter workout. So there you guys have it. Those are the 4 big arm mistakes you got to avoid. We got some mechanic stuff and we got some physiology stuff. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to click the thumbs up button below. I'd really appreciate that. Also, you're obviously one of my top guys for watching this video all the way through, so I want to give you a free gift. I want to give you week 1 of 6 of my biceps and triceps specialization program for free. This program is dedicated to getting your arms bigger using these principles you just learned about. All you got to do is click that button in the annotation. Then it's going to take you to a page where you're going to just enter your best email address and your first name and then confirm that you want it, and I'm going to send it to you. Now if you're watching this video on your mobile, you won't be able to click that link. So click the first link in the description below and it'll take you to the same page, follow the same steps, and I'll send you that workout right away. As always, I make this channel here for you, so tell me what you want to see next. Leave it in the comment section below, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you can do that right now as well. And you'll be first notified when I upload another video. Talk to you soon.